Hey y'all, I'm Auntie Wada, and I'm making this video to respond to a narrative that's being driven on this app. I think it's really problematic, and it's a dangerous narrative that others, black trans women who are binary in the trans spectrum. The first thing I want to say is I'm a black trans woman who builds community with other trans people, be they binary or non-binary. And I've been doing this for quite some time, both in my personal and my professional lives, and here on TikTok. And that's what most of you know me for. There is no schism between binary trans women and non-binary people. What you have is a few people who are privileged, white passing, white adjacent, and white people who are driving this narrative in a way that is anti-black, and that others, black trans women and other BIPOC trans women, this very small group of trans people on the app have made a name for themselves calling people out, waiting for folks to slip up, make a mistake, say something problematic, and then go full speed ahead against these folks. If you challenge them for being anti-black or challenge them for being transphobic towards binary trans women, they weaponize their identities to shield themselves from accountability. They center themselves as the victim, even though often we're the ones being attacked. And so, as part of this narrative, this anti-black narrative that's being driven, black and BIPOC trans women and femmes are being framed as antagonistic to non-binary folks. And the reality is we're in community with non-binary folks. But apparently we build community as black people and as BIPOC people very differently. We don't necessarily have a impetus or incentive to cancel one another because of disagreements or bad takes. We have an impetus and an incentive because of the fact that we are the target of just about every anti-trans piece of legislation that has been driven in this community, in this nation, because we are the target of about 90% of violence against trans people, because we are the target of an epidemic of violence that is 4 times the rate of the next largest group of victims, because we are represented many times over in the criminal justice system, among people who are living outside or homeless or houseless people, among people living with HIV, among people living with mental health problems, among people living with addiction. We are overrepresented And we have an incentive to build community. And so that's what we've been doing. We've been building community on this app. And we've been building community with Black and BIPOC and some others from the trans community, whether they be non-binary trans or binary trans. We've been building community. And recently, what I've seen is Black femmes and Black trans women, and even some Black AFAB women, being attacked, being demonized, and being othered by this group of white creators who are mostly white passing. And it needs to stop. I'm not going to name any names, but the narrative that there is a problem that between non-binary people and binary trans people is a false narrative that is anti-Black and quite frankly anti-trans. We are in community with each other, and I want to encourage those of you who are in community with me to reach out, to not allow yourself to be driven away from each other by false narratives. Do not allow yourself to side-eye the non-binary people in your community. Do not allow yourself to be encouraged to cancel one another. Do not allow yourselves to be told that another Black creator or another BIPOC creator isn't a safe person. Reach out to each other. Combat this negative and dangerous, divisive narrative by reaching out to each other in love and in unity, and continuing to build this community that myself and others have been working so hard to build. This is not the time for us to allow a small group of divisive outsiders to wiggle their way in under the guise of, our identities and drive a wedge between us. I love my non-binary community. I love my Black binary community and my binary community. I love trans people, and I want to encourage us to continue to come together and to build sacred community for all of us. And to don't even challenge it, just walk away from it. To walk away from divisive narratives. If you disagree with somebody, if they disagree with you, if they say something that hurts your feelings, speak for yourself. But don't allow us to be divided across false lines of othering because a small group of folks are telling us to do that. We will continue to build sacred community with each other. We will continue to come together and educate those who are not trans, those who are not Black, those who are not BIPOC. We will continue to educate them about our experiences. We will continue to center the voices and the lived experiences of Black, trans, and non-binary people. And we will continue to grow and be great together. Thank you so much for spending 10 minutes to listen to this message that I find so important.